Those who are called will come. I awoke after a night of intense dreaming. I spent most of the morning walking the site, trying to figure out the pictures of them that were replaying in my head. At the same time, trying to figure out where we would hold the ceremonies. I was in the midst of my confusion, pondering the best ways to go about everything, when a truck pulled into the valley. It came straight towards me. I thought I could discern a woman and her children. The woman waved a sign of recognition. It had to be Mary, our host's daughter, and her kids. She offered to show me to the main lodge for water and to show me the Travois Flats, on which she said was a very old encampment site. She felt that perhaps it might be an alternative site for the ghost dance, and that we should check it out. My kids had elected to go fishing again, so I took Mary up on her offer. Off we went to the Travois Flats. As we neared the flats, we drove between some of the buffalo that her dad, Jack, kept on the ranch. It is always amazing to me whenever I look into the eyes of a buffalo. It always seems as if they are just about to cry. The flats were located on one of the higher plateaus of the ranch. The sight was breathtaking as I viewed the panoramic scenes for 360. It seemed one could see all the way into Canada. John Ford somehow had missed this location in choosing sites for his legendary Western movies. But there was no doubt that, had he seen it, it would have been used somewhere in one of his movies. I could almost see Jimmy Stewart riding in from the range. We drove onto the flats and stopped just about midway. Mary said it would be best to walk from here. She wanted to take me to the top of a hill where there were many mounds to be found. It had once been indicated on the USGS maps as an Indian burial ground. She said that there had been reports of a few diggings, but that no remains of humans had ever been found in the history of the ranch, which had been in her family for 7 generations. We were to find out later the clearer picture of this legend. The mounds that I saw seemed to indicate some sort of markers, not too different than those we found near the site of the encampment. Others, it would turn out, were places where watchfires had been lit many thousand years ago. We walked through what were literally hundreds of teepee rings and stone mounds covering the actual flats, which lay just below us upon a mesa, which was comprised of perhaps several hundred acres. Whatever this place was, it was very well known and obviously of major importance. To those who once gathered here, the site would have been considered a city by standards of their times, and probably was host to at least 2,000 people or more. Again, many things were to reveal themselves to us later when we would perform ceremony on this site, to free the spirits that seemed to be locked here for some reason. We elected not to hold the ceremony here, but to return after we had performed the ghost dance to work on freeing the spirits with the pipe carriers that were coming. As we turned to return to the truck, I could feel a cold chill run down the back of my neck. Yet, at the same time, I wondered about the other side of that feeling. It was as if I had been here before. I knew this site as it had been, not as it was now. I got flashes of when it had been place teeming with life, and bustling with trading and the gambling of men, filled with the laughter and sounds of people traversing back and forth. Yet I knew there was a deeper meaning still to the mystery of Deep Creek that would unfold in its own time. When Mary and I returned to the encampment, people were already starting to arrive. We greeted a few along the road, yet our thoughts were still back at the flats. As seems to be the situation with these types of events, there are people who arrive at the last moment. They do not realize the spiritual preparation that is necessary, nor the physical labor it takes to tame a wilderness setting, and yet leave it as if you were never there. We had about 3 days until the beginning of the actual events that would lead us into the ghost dance.